turning with thee. Thou changes not, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, Lord. Winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, to the and night. Great is thy faithfulness, as Lord, unto thee. Pardon for sin and a peace that's in strength for tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 morning by morning. All I have needed, thy hand has provided. Is thy O Lord, my God, consider all. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy path throughout the evenings to thee. How great then sings my song, my soul. Great thou art. Is near the bound from lofty mount, and my song, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art. How great
Good. Nap them. Alright. So, hopefully we'll have a much better, more interactive layer.
Yes.
Every time I was like, I have something to say. Okay. So, Gabby, how was your week?
Just good. Thank
And
you.
how's it feel? Raph?
It was good too.
It was good too? Why was it
Go
good
make
too?
fun of her on live. This is gonna play this video when he comes.
Here, did you graduate?
No.
Oh, no problem. Get out.
I applied to a job though.
Oh, it sounds nice. Did you fix your resume?
Yes, I did.
Good. You know, if you get Microsoft,
And it gave me all like
I mean,
and then it made a cover letter. Wrote this like super awesome thing and made me
way over my writing my resume in high school and college and like perfecting it for class. And now people are just like, nah. And then they have like a 4-page like bomb after high school.
that too. I also
I
told
know.
you. I'm just.
But yeah, you need to animate my live stream.
No.
They're gonna get bored of me and they're just gonna be like an animated person. So I'm like, no, no, okay. And you wanna be a biologist? Oh,
Yeah.
excuse.
Netflix. He's been making
Okay.
kids show.
Let's see. He worked on a bunch of stuff.
He worked on
Cool.
part of a
team. So whenever you're like looking for jobs and stuff in that, like reach out to Kendall.
Stuff down. I mean, it was pretty fun. I rappelled off a cliff, but I'm fine.
My week went.
How was your week?
I don't remember.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It was good. I had them over.
Next time, Pro Series all the way. Listen, you guys will come out. You're like, oh yeah, and everyone's like, boom.
Now that we
Just like ran and came back like, wait, what are you doing? I want to see what you're. And they'd run away and come back every single time.
and like Moses is the dog, by the way. He didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting him to bark and freak out. He didn't do anything. He
When other weeks are going, let's hop into the lesson of the quarter. Used to be and has-beens. It's a weird title for it. Dear Father in heaven, Lord, I want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you for everything you've done for us, Lord. I want to thank you for allowing us to spend time. So as always, I encourage everyone to give generously to their local offering. North Mexico all the way down to southern Colombia. Alright? So that is where all the mission offering is. So this week's lesson is one that you... Alright? And this one is talking about Jesus, some demons, and some pigs. Alright? So what we can do is we can read the lesson. I have no idea how to say that. Which is across the lake from Galilee. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by his voice. What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me. For Jesus had commanded, it had seized him and threw chains and had been driven by the demon into the solitary places. Jesus asked him, what is your name? Legion, he replied, because many demons had gone into him. And they begged Jesus repeatedly not to beg Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he gave them permission. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. When those see what had happened, had gone out, sitting at Jesus' feet, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people how because they were overcome with fear. So he got into the boat and left. Return home and tell how much God has done for you. So the man went away and told all over the town how much Jesus. This lesson is one, like I said, we've read many times. And so the first point that we're going to tackle today is witness the power and mercy of Christ. Okay? So the lesson highlights the fact that Christ was going around throughout his ministry, and that he has the power the times of Elisha. Alright? That someone had the power to cast out demons. Alright? It was something that was foreign to the Jews, the Jewish leaders at that time. Okay? If you watch the Chosen series, they highlighted a point where Nicodemus tried to cast out demons from Mary Magdalene and failed. And Christ showed up and he was able to successfully cast. A lot of people were afraid of this power, and the Jews, as you learned from last week's lesson, they even accused him, saying that he cast out demons by the power of Satan. That would be so off. Can you imagine that? Like, you're casting out demons by the power of Satan. I'm like, then what's the point, bro? What's the point? Why do I possess someone just to cast myself out of them? The power that Christ was exhibiting on earth. Right? Yes, he was God in human form, but it's the same power that is available to us, accessible to all of us today. Alright? Followers of Christ. Alright? That we are Christians. Alright? Then we need to exhibit the exact same mercy that Christ had. We may not encounter someone who is possessed by thousands of demons, but we need to show mercy to others. We always need to show mercy to those people and to be there for them, just like Christ was.
Do you think it was going to be different than teaching people in class?
No. At least I can stare them down this time, like. So, next point. Understand the dangers of playing in the devil's sandbox. Alright? In the fear of the unknown, the fear of what can happen is very lost on people.
Like the devil makes you feel like you have control over. Yeah. So, but it gives them the sense of like they feel like they have control and the ability to understand what these demons are portraying and to be able to only at the exact moment where if control is taken away from you, you will not leave.
Yeah. I remember talking about this when we, pre-COVID times. I was actually in the Chapters bookstore. And it was after we saw your, alright, a book that they pull and protect them, but also, yeah. I was like, oh, lovely. I didn't realize that you could just pick that up, and it was even on sale. It was like save 15%. I'm like, things. Okay, they get into crystals, they get into card readings, they get into, and they think that oh, it's harmless, or oh, I have this, I can talk to demons.
There's more chance of there being romance in your day that day, or you read your tarot cards to find out what's supposed to happen and you change it. So information that's being brought to them through exactly what they say.
This conflict, and if you're not on one side, then you're automatically on the other side. Okay, if you are not on God's side, you are automatically on the devil's people and left. And the devil came and took his people. And then the devil came back, and there was one guy sitting on the fence, and that was like, oh, I own the fence. There is no 50%. It's always 50 plus 1%. How this world works. Alright? The enemy is very real. People who have testimonies of, possession or partial possession. That comes and
they're like voodoo,
and they're just like gone. No, they're just like not even touching that, not going near that. Voodoo, get away from me. Amped up and scared over this stuff because it is a very real threat to you and to your salvation. Don't think that you can just skim the surface and you'll be alright. Alright? Because the devil will, and stuff like that. But the only thing that has true power is the power of Christ.
Just like to kind of solidify that though, I don't know if any of you have ever met any depressed, anxious, and want to be around.
Yeah, no.
They're very like.
It could have been a different Chelsea.
Stop.
You exposed her. Just saying, you can always feel it. You walk into the room and you feel it. You're just like, okay. Because I remember when you're not to get possessed by holding these cards, okay. And I just held them like, I mean, they're pretty, but like.
I was so insulted.
Whatever. And she's like, what? My soul was literally like sweating bullets right there. I was like, listen, I know that you don't mess with that kind of stuff. We realize. And we're getting desensitized out there who don't realize how. That's a great
Whole house. It just gives.
Is it? She's just like.
No. Brings out the Bibles. Lord Jesus, please bless this house. I need to protect.
Why? Horror movies. Burn them.
God will provide. It's okay. It was needed.
But
even just like little things that seem so harmless and like that don't necessarily mean it. The little blue guy, he's like the evil eye. He's supposed to.
Oh, the emoji thing.
There's an emoji for it.
Yes, there is.
Well, the evil eye is I forget if it's Egyptian or where it's from, but it's essentially a Christian. There's
Nice.
a lot.
I'd rather carry an Uno reverse card on me.
Jewelry and clothes that have these symbols and stuff on them that we don't know what they mean, so we don't necessarily even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are wearing it all the time, and it's a gateway kind of thing. Like it's a small opening to more.
We think that these crystals now have power from the devil.
It's not that they have power from the devil. From the way I understand it is rocks and crystals have vibrations.
Yes.
And essentially the way the science behind it works is that different crystals have different vibrations that vibe differently with your vibrations as a human being.
I mean, that's how watches work. The frequency helps the watch.
So that there's a higher chance of, Remember, I used to wear this like it had like a pink heart that was rose quartz and like a blue something where I create better relationships, but then I would get attached to literally everyone for no reason, and I stopped wearing it. But anyways, that's the idea, that the vibrations blend with yours to be able to, in the type of environment. Thought it did back then. That's not to say, like, they do have vibrations.
You, but to the extent that people treat crystals as
Rose quartz, it's not gonna like attract some perfect.
you see people doing like TikTok where they're just like, oh, nice to meet you. Like, it's something that we need to be more aware of, that it exists, that it is accessible,
And that it's hidden.
very obvious and blatant.
But
and
it's
in
hidden
your
because
face.
people aren't taught about it anymore.
Yes, people.
So if you
Wait,
see,
does that include stuff like the
although
every time someone starts saying
Of course it does.
I don't like
as an excuse to be a horrible human being,
Yes.
they're like, I'm just.
Yeah.
Or the amount of sunshine your mom got while she was like, if you were born in February, your pregnancy was mostly during the winter. You're gonna be different than someone who was in mom's belly.
So, that in her book, Counsel on Diet and Food, biblical or health benefits to giving a pregnant woman their cravings, it will actually have a detrimental impact on the child unless it is a healthy craving. Impact the child.
Like end all be all, like you're gonna date used to like weed out people, even though God may have been like, well, that was the one, but you know, alright. Like
She was obsessed about star signs, and I was like, wow, convinced. I was like,
your horoscopes are so generalized. It's like
So
you will
basic.
find love today, and then
so
that are like
these things are very accessible. They're very dangerous because it starts with
really horoscope kind of thing. The devil uses those things to put you on a path where he wants you. Because if you wake up first thing in the morning and you're like, how's my day gonna go? And the first thing you do is read this app thing that's like, oh, you're really reserved today, had you not read that. Like,
yeah, the plot of movies and shows before she watches and finishes the show. Or
but
nah, like listen, if you spoil movies or like shows or books, like she'll read the end of a book and then just not educated on the fact that these things.
any school that has other children in it,
If you're not homeschooling them,
then they don't know how to fight against it.
exactly. In translation. I
Anyway, it's
She's like, I'm caught up now. I got you. When you understand His power and His mercy, and you know how dangerous the opposition is, all right. Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And so I'm not putting you guys on blast, okay? But it's one thing I want you guys to think about. You guys and you guys. And we will.
he will be sad, but he also can't do anything about it. So he will love you all the same, but he cannot save you.
Okay. You now imagine if they were doing something.
I didn't even know that's what you were talking about.
Wow.
Just so you know.
Okay.
She's like, I have a shed.
Shacked up, I was like, weird. No, I'm not following. I'm like half asleep, for sure.
Like you're your own person. You can, and you
Or
saw.
200, no, I'm
You
kidding.
like turn it up higher. Burn the other one too. What would happen if you saw that he was actually hurting himself to the point where he could die from that? Alright.
Pain.
I know he's feeling pain, but it would hurt a lot, even more pain to walk on that broken leg. And you're like, bro, he's like, leave me alone. I can do whatever I want. I got the freedom to do what I want. He has the power to help you and fix you and like.
Like Abby yesterday, where I was like, you could literally, you know what, God, I really don't feel like carrying this anymore. And when you look back, Jesus is there, and he's like, I got rid of it.
He's like, I got you, fam. I got
He's
you.
like, I got it. And then sometimes you forget he's there, and you start carrying your own baggage again, and you do the same thing, and you're like, oh, Jesus, I forgot. Can you just take that again? He's like, yeah. Like, he's just following you. He's not, like, people are like, oh, I'm so far gone, I'm getting so far from Jesus. I'm like, you're walking away, but, like, you're running from him, but he's literally still right behind you. All you have to do is turn.
So get closer to him. The only way we can do that is by getting closer to him. Alright? By understanding the words he and the instructions He has left us, but understanding who He is, to becoming a better friend with Him, and to connect more with the Holy Spirit. And through the Holy Spirit, He will perform. But most, because you actually don't believe, if you want to upgrade or turbocharge or just like take a step forward in your walk with God, tell somebody about your walk with God.
Even if it's someone who you think already knows your story.
Tell it to them anyway.
Tell them anyway, God.
But she
will become things that she hasn't seen. And those are people who interact with God. Wow, He's actually making a difference.
And you reflect, and you're just like, oh. When you actually go and share your story, share your faith with someone else, you'll notice the difference in what I knew. And once you experience that, you want to do it again and again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't marry everyone that you do that with.
No, polygamy is not something God instituted. So, write it down for you, and then always add to it. So
when you think He's not there, to look back at when you thought He wasn't there and be like, oh, but He was. And like you can kind of see where He was there. Realizing that these things are happening to you, because you usually don't even realize that it's happening if it's just for you. My husband, because everyone I talked to around me, I just called him John. So I was like, it's still just John. But then I was like, every time I said just clicked in and I'm gonna play it.
I was just like, girl, no. I was like, because I'd be like, oh yeah, wait and see what the wifey says. Okay, it sounds super cliche because everyone does it nowadays, even though they're not married and stuff. Like, oh, you're my wife. Oh, you're my husband. Oh, yeah. It's like, what? Wait, you guys aren't even dating? What?
No, I just found a Kleenex box.
A little too late.
Yo. Nice. More hot. Alright. Christ has the power over the light and the dark. There's no low you can steep to. It's too big. You can't. And Christ is like, hello, I got it.
But the thing is that Christ has already been to the lowest of the lows for us. And they're like, nah, Jesus, I'm gonna feel it anyways. And He's like, come on, man. I already felt it. Now you're feeling it too. This is double the pain for no reason. I literally I'll just take it. Poof, gone. Promise. Like.
Yeah. So, it's very real. He's very active. He roams around like a roaring lion, seeking whom He may devour. That is what everyone wants.
And
I like cats.
And something so insignificant in a position where they're constantly, instead of like cake for breakfast, and they're gonna be like, oh my God, how did you do that? Like, how do you deal with
anarchy? Like sometimes I just like to live on the edge, so I put the milk first. And the cereal. Just some people like chaos.
It's like people who eat Kit Kats in one bite and
crunch. And just watch her die on the inside. Just our souls just gonna be like, that's not how you eat a Kit Kat. Next lesson is new quarter. Your readings are Desire of Ages, chapter 36. And you guys can use a QR code to find the sermon notes that I prepared, and you can download them and do whatever you want with them. I don't care. But you can use them for the sermon you're about to watch, or you can use them. Co-teacher, would you like to close us with prayer?
Fine.
Make sure you speak nice and loud.
So screaming, like, dear Jesus, that we need to watch out for in this world. I ask that you please be with each and everywhere, that Christ is always with us and can show us what is good for us and what isn't. I ask that you please help us all to get through the coming week safely and to have a good time. I ask that you give us all the courage to tell our story. Amen.
Amen. So, well, I mean, we do have episodes on YouTube. There's still a teacher than just that. Google Podcasts, iTunes, a bit on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Radio. What she said. Stitcher.
Is it iCloud? No, it's SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. Yeah, iCloud. That's where you put. That's like G Drive, man. It's not up there. All right. And I wish you all a happy Sabbath, and we shall see you all next week. Bye.
'Cause I'm a vessel with a treasure none can compare. Persecuted but not forsaken, 'cause I'm a vessel full of power, with a treasure full yet not, 'cause I'm a vessel full of power, with a treasure none can compare. Person cast down but not destroyed, 'cause I'm a vessel full of power, with a treasure from the Lord. From the Lord. Oh, the pain from the lead. I'm a